Hey guys, welcome to a new video. As you can see, this video will be about what do we do if prices get too high? Can it still sell? Do prices in the thousands or 2000 or in the 5000 euros still sell? I'm gonna make a video about this because someone commented in one of my previous videos. They were talking about a Podea Evolve boosted box case for 1800 euros. Does it still sell? Yes, I got a little bit of a haircut, so my hair is still shorter. I'm still the same guy. I'm the owner of this website, Dave PTCG. We sell a lot of different Pokemon products right now, and we're maybe expanding also, maybe down the line also to other trading card games. So if you have any questions about a website, how to run it, leave it in the comments. I'll make sure to get to it. All right, let's dive right into the question, which was, especially this question was regarding Paldea Evolve Booster Box case. I'll actually open this on another tab as well. Let's go there quickly. On car market, there we go. Then we also add this website to it so you can see kind of what the prices are, and I kind of just want to use this as a example of prices, and I think it's also good if you can find this here, booster box case. There we go. All right. So I can definitely understand this question, right? Because what do we do if prices get too high? I understand, right? Because the higher you go, right, the less people that are able to spend that money, right? So let's say if you have a Pokemon product which you bought in for 50 euros and you sell for 100, a lot of people are able to afford 100 euros, right? If it's, let's say it's maybe a good deal, you have a larger population who is able to afford 100 euros, right? It's not for people, many people have a specific budget and that 100 euros fit into that budget. If we're talking about products such as this one, the Paldea Evolve Booster Box case, which jumped up from like, let's say $800 to like $2,000 plus booster box, same in car market. Let's see what the cheapest is roughly 1,800, I think I saw, right? Let's see when this is loading. Yeah, let's say 1.8k, give or take 1.9, 1.8, right? But this is a beautiful graph that we can actually follow. What do I recommend? Let's answer the question straight away is, should you be scared of that? No. But what I do think you should keep in mind is make sure that your connections are very valuable. There are always people who are willing to buy. We can even look at the example of Evolving Skies, right? Like if we look at Evolving Skies booster box, right? Maybe not, you can even look at the case, but this product is roughly, what is it now, 2.3k, and that's for one booster box, right? Look, these are selling still on a daily basis. Today, or sorry, yesterday there were 3 that were sold. Before that there were 2 every day that were sold. The market is always there. But what I do recommend you guys is to build up a network. Make sure you're in some type of group chat, whether that's on WhatsApp, whether that's in my Discord server, whether that's on Facebook, whether it's on another Discord server, whether you create an Instagram. Create a following, create connections with people who have this type of money, which are willing to buy that from you. I think that's the main point that you guys should take away from this video. If you don't want to watch all of it, is make sure you guys build up connections with other people. Because when these things come around, when you do want to make an accent on a nice product that you made a lot of margin on, make sure that you're also able to sell it. Look what I, for example, have been doing. I've been creating a website. I'm not saying everyone should create a website. I know there are some other things that come along with that, and it's a lot more difficult than it just, create a website, don't look at it again. But that's, for example, one of the things that I've been really thinking about. Like, what if? Yeah, what if you get products which are very hard to get rid of, or not hard to get rid of, but are more difficult to get rid of because the price tag is just so ridiculously high. Therefore, create a platform, create connections, talk to people who have these type of money, and it's most likely going to be businesses, right? There are not many people. There are still a group of people, right? But they are harder to find who are willing to spend 2,000, 5,000, whatever amount of money on these type of products because they have that type of money, right? Let's say they are an investor and they have a good job or whatever, they just have a lot of money, wherever that came from. It's understandable that they can spend 2,000 euros on an Evolving Skies booster box, but the regular consumer cannot do this. So number one, is make sure you have relationships with people, whether that's in a community, whether that's in connections with people on Instagram, whatever, just connections with people so you're able to sell and maybe buy from them as well. So you build up relationships with people. I do that through my Discord server, I do it through my website, I do it through WhatsApp's group, I do it through whatever way possible right now. What's the other thing that I should recommend? Let's take a look at, for example, that example I like for the Paldea Evolve Booster Box case, because that was specifically the question that was asked. So I think it's nice to look at that. This is purely the American market. I know there's also card market, but we can take this example for both, right? Let's say you bought this box for whatever, $1,000, just to make it easier, right? Right now market is 2.6K. What do I recommend you to do? Just list it first for market, right? I cannot look into your pocket, so I cannot say how fast you need this money. If you need the money fast, okay, dump it for 20% on the market price and it's gone, right? Trust me, it's that easy. Because people, there are still a group of people who do have this type of money, right? The further you go up the ladder, if you talk about a booster box, 10,000 euros or 20,000 euros or $30,000, whatever, of course, then it gets more difficult, right? But I think products under the 5,000 or like, let's say under the 3,000 range, anything above 3,000 is going to be hard to really move within a day. But products like booster box cases are very high in demand still. Don't forget that products like this still many people want or still didn't have the opportunity to buy. So let's take, for example, at the European market, so let's say card market, right? Let's say the lowest listed right now is 1.8K, just to make it easy, right? If you need to dump this, if you're unsure about it, first I would recommend you list it for this price. Maybe go a little bit below, maybe go 1750 or just try it for 18. If it doesn't go away, sell it for 1600, right? If you bought these cases for like 800 euros, and I cannot say what margins you need to make, that's dependent on you, what you're comfortable with, right? But if you were hesitant on selling this and you're not sure if it's going to move, first sell it for market price. If it doesn't go away in a week, fuck it, just jump 50 euros underneath. Doesn't sell for a week, jump 100, right? Don't undercut yourself with hundreds, like a crazy amounts, because at some point it will go away and then you maybe, hey, fuck, maybe I could have asked 200 euros more for it or 100 euros more. So don't short yourself on that. But make sure you also kind of give people a deal, right? If I'm buying, let's say I'm a collector or I'm a store and I need Paldea Evolve because well, for whatever reason, right? I'm gonna go to card market. I'm gonna say, hey, look, 1800. I don't know. Maybe you build up some connections and you text me and say, hey, David, I have a Paldea Evolve booster box. I want to sell it for 1600. There will be people like me who will say yes to that, and that might seem unsure, but the more connections you make, the easier you will see that's possible. I do want to give the example of that booster boxes are very liquid. They're very easy to get rid of because they're the most demanding product. If we start looking at other products such as singles, such as like the Mario Pikachu or the Luigi Pikachu, which is in the 20,000s of euros, I think those are the products you need to watch out for. Or vintage cards which are in a PSA 9 and they're worth 4,000 euros. Those are very hard to get rid of, right? Because there are less people who want to collect these. But for example, with new generation cards, so I'm talking about Sword and Shield, I'm talking about Scarlet and Violet, Mega, all these newer generations, people are still wanting to pick these up on a daily basis, right? If we go back to the Paldea Evolved and just look at the recent sales, we can see that yesterday one was sold for this amount. On the 11th there were more that were sold, right? There are 4 in one day. Oh, sorry, this is... Actually, this is... sorry, I'm looking wrong at this. This is from yesterday. I probably need to log in to see more sales, right? Because it's from last month, but in theory I think it's being sold every day, right? So once you get to these higher prices, don't be scared of it. I understand it's a lot of money that goes into it, but don't worry about it. There are always people who are willing to buy. There are very many stores located in the Netherlands, located in Europe, located in America. Even if you were to want to get rid of it for 80% just because you need the money quickly, it will go away. There are a lot of companies who are willing to pay 80% for these type of products, which are very liquid for them as well because they can sell them directly. Don't forget to build up that community, relationship with people, because that's the most important thing. If you have any questions regarding this or you have any tips or things I missed out on, let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time.